I'm disappointed by the latest Chicago Med update, which completely rules out any chance of a certain fan-favorite character returning. Chicago Med Season 10 introduced new characters and stories as Alan McDonald took over the EP duties. However, McDonald promised that some former characters would return, and has already made good on that promise by featuring Sarah Reese, Rachel D.I. Pillow, in 2 episodes earlier in the season. However, that is the only return so far. There are several former Chicago Med characters who need to return, and a new update confirms that several will make cameo appearances in the Season 10 finale. I'm hoping for appearances from several favorite characters, especially Crockett Marcel, Dominique Raines, Will Halstead, Nick Gelfus, and April Sexton, Yaya DaCosta. Sadly, the latest news suggests that one of these characters will not be returning, which is disappointing despite the excitement around all the other returns. The Chicago Med Season 10 finale will feature special cameos. Several former characters will return for what sounds like an intense story. Epatha Murkison as Sharon and Oliver Platt as Dr. Charles looking worried in Chicago Med Season 9. Chicago Med Season 10 will end with several cliffhangers that are intended to keep the audience talking over the summer, according to showrunner Alan McDonald, via TV Line. McDonald promises intense stories for Goodwin, Epatha Murkison, and Charles, Oliver Platt, who will both have to face their demons and deal with dark pasts. Additionally, McDonald promises that there will be some unexpected faces returning. Thus, it sounds like he plans to make good on his promise to include more former characters during the season finale. This cryptic comment doesn't share much about who is returning or for how long. While it is possible that some characters will return for Chicago Med Season 11, it's more likely that departed characters are returning for cameo visits. This would make sense if Goodwin or Charles is in a precarious position, as their former mentees might want to come to Gaffney to support them through whatever crises they are dealing with. That said, since there will be strong cliffhanger, it's possible some old characters will be featured in the Season 11 premiere. Yaya DaCosta rules out April Sexton's return in the Chicago Med Season 10 finale. The actress doesn't see any future story for April. Unfortunately, April Sexton is one character who is not returning in Chicago Med Season 10 finale. Although she is a fan favorite, actress Yaya DaCosta recently said that she doesn't see herself coming back to Chicago Med. Although DaCosta is grateful that audiences still want her to return, she believes that her last appearance in Chicago Med Season 8 tied up loose ends and gave April a proper exit, and thus she doesn't expect to return. Yaya DaCosta is also moving on to other projects, making a return more logistically difficult, but it's clear that DaCosta was not asked back for the finale since she is speaking hypothetically. However, the silver lining is that it sounds like DaCosta would be willing to return if the writers found a story for her. Her comments about not doing so were storyline driven, so it's possible that DaCosta could again appear as April in a future episode, though she will not have a cameo this time. This is especially disappointing because Maggie has had a rough time this season and could use a chat with April, who she was close to when April worked at Gaffney. Which former Chicago Med characters may return in the Season 10 finale? There are several characters who could visit Gaffney. Many former Chicago Med cast members have left the series over its 10-year run, so there are several possible returns, especially since McDonald's comments suggest that more than one character will be returning. That said, the most likely returns would be Marcel or Halstead, as these characters left during the last 2 years and are always on the top of fan lists of people who they want to come back to the series. Marcel's return would be especially poignant, considering the character left because of his trauma after 2 patients died. Marcel's return would make up for his lackluster One Chicago Universe exit. Conversely, Chicago Med could reach further back for returning characters. Colin Donnell's Connor Rhodes hasn't been seen since Season 4, so it's possible that the medical drama would invite him back. This would make the most sense if Halstead also returns, as the two worked together for 4 years. Med could also go for more obscure characters such as Joey, the pathologist that once dated Reese, but at this point there is no clear reason to do so, especially since this was a minor role that not everyone will remember.